What can municipalities that do not have zoning, what can they do or not do? What tools do they have?
When you don't have zoning, and I know I've said this several times, you basically open the door. You have nothing in control. You have no regulatory control. There's going to be something in your planning commission as far as the land development that you may be able to put some stipulation, but without zoning, your land use, you can't tell them they can't put it there. They are coming and they're going to want to put it where they want it. The only thing that I would recommend if you don't have zoning and you are a small municipality and can't afford to formulate a zoning ordinance, which could run you between $30,000 to $150,000 professionally done, I would suggest that you get with a neighboring township that may have zoning, or get together with several. You're not giving up authority by joining together in a zoning picture. The larger the land mass, the more you can specifically say what goes where. If you don't have it, you're at their mercy. And I'm sorry, you talk to your lawyers, but you'll get that same answer, I believe.
How do you explain to your residents that if you don't take action to amend your ordinances, that they can go anywhere? You don't really have any control about that. And what can the challenge is communicating with them what a township can and can't do. Any suggestions for folks that are just starting the process?
When we started our ordinance in Limerick, it was before all the public outcry against data centers. So since then, now that the applications are in, obviously the board is dealing with the public pushback that everyone is dealing with. So I would suggest that get out in front of what a township can, if you don't have a data center ordinance, get out in front of what a township can legally put into a ordinance to protect the township. We believe that at the time, 2 years ago when we did it, we protected the township greatly because we pulled out data centers from a lot of areas where they could have been, where we didn't want them, and now we have them where we want them. But you're going to be getting pressure from the public to say no based on things that are outside the jurisdiction of the township. And such as electric rates are going to go up, say no. I don't believe, and again, I know there's probably people in Limerick who are listening to this. I'm not advocating one way or another. I'm just saying I don't know if there's anything in any zoning ordinance or any legal ability of a township to say no to a project because electric rates are going to increase. So get out in front, educate your public before you get an application, because right now, Limerick is somewhat limited on what we can communicate with the public because of the impartiality that the board has to maintain now that we're in a conditional use application.
Since he opened the door on taxes, I think it's important to understand the data center developers have proposed an unbelievable tax revenue position. In looking at that and analyzing it, it isn't there. If they are proposing to you something that you believe to be abnormal, find out what they used as their baseline data. If they use the Loudoun County structure, it's not going to be applicable in your community because they're taxing all of the contents of those buildings, all of that structure of the building, and our tax bases don't apply in the same fashion. So I did an example. I took one building that is being proposed, I took the current tax rate, the current size of the building, and found X dollars. If they redid that same building, which is their proposal, there would be no change. The dollar value would increase from the current market value to their construction value is almost equivalent. If you assume the same tax structure, it's going to be the same dollars. So there's absolutely no increase whatsoever in the tax revenue based upon that one building. I then looked at a conceptual building or an actual building that they have now that's a data center. Guess what? The tax dollars aren't there. It's no different than the office building that's right next door. So beware of people coming with deep pockets or big bags of gold because it doesn't appear to be there in the first cut. Maybe they'll show us something later, but right now it's not there.
It sounds like there's maybe some challenges with communication to the public. So what types of public engagement is taking place during the enactment of these ordinances?
One thing that we just requested from one of our developers, the one that came in that Bill had mentioned, the 11 data centers, is we are requesting that they hold their own town hall, meet with the public separate from our public meeting, and they've agreed to do that. The meeting hasn't been scheduled yet. We had a planning commission meeting scheduled for tomorrow, postpone that until the developer calls his own town hall and answers the questions directly. They know more of the answers than we do. So when supervisors are asked questions, we usually have to go to a source, find out all the information, do our due diligence, and then report back. So we're eliminating that middleman process and having the developer do their own town hall.
But the one thing I will say that it hasn't come up yet is that we're working on a community benefits agreement with our developer. Which is, I think, going to be very beneficial for the township. Has nothing to do with taxes. Again, they're permitted by right in our township, but we're asking them to do things for the township, build a new park, maybe a new police station. They're going to give us seed money for a land preservation program, and we're hoping this community benefits agreement will be somewhere in the range of $5 to $10 million for the township.
I didn't see any signs here that said no data center. I haven't seen that sign since I left home.
Saw plenty of them there, didn't you? Huh? Saw plenty of them there.
They would be holding them up. They have t-shirts, yellow t-shirts, no data center. But we scheduled a meeting in July to approve this zoning. And we have a big pavilion. It was summertime, it was warm. There was probably 300 people in the pavilion and 200 people outside. And it was truly awful. And I'm not kidding, awful. And the book face, not Facebook, book face, after the meeting was horrendous. There was 40 or 50 people that spoke. We did not deny anyone to speak, even if they didn't live in our town. Some lived a considerable distance away. We allowed everyone to speak. When it was the supervisor's turn to speak, I pretty much wasn't allowed to speak. They stopped me from speaking. I got quiet for a minute, tried to talk again, couldn't talk. Our attorney was conducting the meeting, and I said, I'm done. So we had an executive session for a couple of minutes. We came back in, we voted, and we passed the ordinance. So hopefully we did our homework. Missy and I have gone to a lot of meetings. We've gone to Zoom meetings, we've gone to meetings in other counties. We've gone to all the meetings here. We're really trying to be as educated as we can. And if you don't have a zoning ordinance, as they said before, you need to put one in place.